green screens. Well, hello and welcome to episode number 382 of the Plane Talking UK podcast. It's Carlos here, and in this week's show, a British airline makes the move to Airbus, a US airline makes its seats even smaller, and the Virgin Atlantic make things all cozy on their A350s. Matt, cue the Patreon music. In the military this week, the UK sticks to its plan of retiring the venerable C-130 despite its great legacy. Qatar receives some new F-15s. The Nigerian Air Force operationalises its Super Tucanos. And you too could own your own Air Force base in Canada.
That's the band U2, right? Yeah.
So joining me this week, across the other side of this glorious village we live in Suffolk in the east of England here, because I'm not with him this week, it is the legend that is Matt Smith.
Well, I decided that I suffered enough last week by doing the entire show from outside that I thought I'd come and sit in the warm studio today. I hope you don't mind.
Well, you could always do what your bottle says on it, Matt.
My bottle? What does my bottle say? Hang on, you've confused me now. What?
Next to you on the windowsill?
I have a bottle on the windowsill. Oh, I see. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Bit of unintentional branding just slipped in there.
Oh,
does that mean I have to put the little P logo in the bottom left-hand corner?
No, we're gonna have to sort of we're gonna edit the show and blur that particular piece of the video out. Yeah.
Are we heckers like? There we go. Anyway.
So, not joining us this week, unfortunately, because he's very busy doing all different kind of work-related meetings and Zoom calls, and hopefully not Teams calls because he hates them.
He does.
Is Neville Bounds. Yes. He can't be with us this week, but as always this week, back with us as is our fourth member of the team, and it is the fantastic and amazing Armando.
Hey guys, sorry I couldn't be on the show the last couple of weeks. I've been pretty busy zooming around the country, you know.
See what you did there. See what you did there.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, it's been pretty busy, but now it's a beautiful day here, and I was surprised here just about 10 minutes ago by our guest host.
You certainly were, because
Carlos, would you like to introduce our guest host?
This week on the show, we have literally rolled out a red carpet from here in Suffolk all the way over to Armando's house, because this week, I can't believe I'm saying this. We're gonna have to put this one in the diary, Matt. This week, our special guest on the show, it's the one, the only, it's Megan Carrion. Hello, Meg.
It's me.
Actually, as you are here, I do need to do something though, if I may be so bold. A happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Megan. Happy birthday to you. That was horrendous, wasn't it?
Wow. Bravo.
Happy birthday. If that hasn't put you off, she's going to leave now.
And that's a wrap for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in case anyone's wondering, me and Matt are available for our parties, bar mitzvahs, anything.
Right.
Just send us
okay.
an email.
You are. I'm trying to give it up. It's Lent and all that. Yeah.
You know what? I can't remember, honestly, Matt. The last time me and you sang together, it must have been years
I'll
ago.
tell you what. I'll tell you when it was. I'll tell you when it was. It was several Christmases ago, and it was the last time that Owen was actually here for Christmas. So there you go. That gives you an idea how. And we all came to the Swan, if you remember.
Oh my word!
Yes, I know that goes back a while. So that must be what 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I think now. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, carry on. So,
Speaking of carry on,
Yes, quite absolutely. Yeah.
how many spouses do you know would spend their birthday podcasting on an aviation podcast?
This is perfect. I was just talking to a friend about how I don't feel like I am involved enough in your aviation passion. So this is a good way to do that.
Quite.
I'm starting off the next year on the right foot.
Can we buy a Bonanza?
I'm just worried.
I thought I would take a shot at
Right,
that.
I mean, worth a go, certainly, absolutely. Well done.
I'm just worried we can't afford Megan's salary for
Well,
this.
no, there
I
is
don't
that.
know.
Also, I think it's worth mentioning doing things on special days. I think it's probably worth mentioning, and if you had the misfortune of listening to me doing breakfast this morning, it's a certain person's wedding anniversary today as well. One Monsieur Carlos and the long-suffering Gemma, and it must be, and it is now 10 years. Can you believe it's 10 years since we all got very drunk at your expense, Carlos?
No.
It was such a long time ago.
Imagine 10 years ago, Matt, we were all together at the barn, and yeah, it was.
I was
one hell of
the
a night.
master of ceremonies, wasn't
You
I? Busy,
was.
basically ordering people around all day, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I'll be honest.
And he done it well. Trust me, he done it well.
Indeed. Anyway, it's got nothing to do with aviation. Let's get cracking.
Let's get on. So, Armando, you have got just something for our roundup for this week, our weekly roundup, haven't you? Some updates, information.
Yeah, so according to Reuters.com this week, the Boeing 777-200s owned by United Airlines, currently powered by the Pratt & Whitney PW4000-112 engines, will not be flying until early 22. This follows United Airlines flight that was heading to Honolulu in February that suffered an engine failure. I think we did a story on that. That 777 landed safely at Denver International soon after takeoff. Now, the United's chief commercial officer said that they were really disappointed that they were not able to fly these 777s with the Pratt & Whitney engines. As of now, the 777 aircraft are grounded, and they are considered large capacity domestic movers, and we use them for Hawaii and for hub to hub. So as of right now, we'll be flying well below where we like as far as capacity levels in Hawaii, or to Hawaii.
Wow.
There
Okay.
you go.
There it
Well, I
is.
think they are the only users, I think, now of this particular engine power 777. But yeah, they need to get some new ones in if they want to get increase their capacity. But there you go.
Indeed.
Well, that just kind of shows that no one manufacturer in aviation is ever safe from, a mechanical or safety decision related to mechanical or engineering.
Absolutely, indeed. But then that's what it's there for, isn't it? I suppose that's the long and the short of it. That's what it's all about.
That's it.
So let's say a big thanks to everyone who's joined us in the chat room for the live show tonight. Can I quickly run through the list of family in here? Let's have a look. We have got Lee Davies. Hello to you, Lee. We've got Captain Cruz, Richard Adams, and scroll down. Here we go. We've got Nick Codling. Hello to you, Nick. Thanks for your feedback, Nick. Actually, we've got that coming up in a future show. We've also got Myla. Hello to you, Myla. Hope you are flying well. Mazouz Karim. Hello to you, Mazouz, one of our local listeners here. We have got Megan Carrin's also in the chat room. That's always good.
I've heard of her. Where do I know her from?
Tanya W. Hello to you, Tanya. Also there tonight. And Masha. Hello to you, Masha. Hope things have been brighter at your side of the Europe, because it's been very gloomy and cloudy here today. We've got, scrolling down, make sure, Tony S. Hello to you, Tony. Arnie Carlson. Hello to you, Arnie. Good evening. Just make sure I don't miss anyone out. Aircraft 5 as well. Hello to you, Aircraft 5. Nice to see you in the chat room as well. And welcome to everyone who has tuned in this evening. Don't forget, if you are listening to the audio version of this show and you haven't already seen what our glorious faces look like, you can go over to YouTube, type in Plain Talking UK, and you'll find our page on there. Hit the subscribe and the bell icon, which is right next door, to be notified when we are live and recording new episodes, because we would love to have you in the chat room. I'm sure the chat room would love to have you in the chat room as well, because we do have a fantastic chat room each week. So yeah, don't forget, click on those buttons.
And Carlos, if you go to last week's notes, because of course it is the beginning of the month, which does mean one thing, doesn't it? Of course.
Yes, it does. It is time to say a big thank you to a certain group of people who donate to the show via Patreon. So we're going to say a big thank you to our Patreon donators. So first, we've got Dirk S., Sasha Beer, Stephen Ivey, Nicholas Codling, Warren Dixon, Louis Caceres, Andrew van der Sag, Alan White, Stephen Howland, Tanya Wyman, Megan Carrion, Jacob Darlington Brown, Nicholas Hewitt, Masha Gertz, Owen Shimizu, Ruben Wells, Neil Lamworn, Graham Haley, Jonathan Warner, Eric Graves, Matt Caton, Jordan Rose, Andrew Wilson, Captain Jeff, Adam Spink, Liz Piper, Jeff Ward, Myla, Evan Shue, Philip Labe, Shud Bakker, Ray Williams, and Stephanie Plummer. And a big thanks as well to our regular PayPal donators on the show, Jennifer Parkinson, Mazus Karim, thank you to you as well, Tony Stubbings, Lee Davies, and Craig Urosco. Big thank you to you, kind people, for your awesome donations to the show. It does help us with the show in many different ways, one of which is providing Matt with certain devices in the studio for dealing with noise issues, which I think is sorted out this week.
Yes.
And other things as well. And it helps us to provide you with the great content that we bring you each week. So big thank you to you, one and all. And don't forget, if you want to become a Patreon subscriber of the show or a PayPal donator, you can go over to our website and click on the links which are on there. And I think there's a video which I have done, isn't there, Matt?
That's about to go on there this week. Yeah, absolutely.
I sat down a few days back and done a bit of a sort of a sit-down session with me, and I'd go over my kind of flying life. So it's one to definitely watch. There's a lot of things that I don't talk about on the show, so they'll be on that video, which will be released to our Patreon and PayPal donators hopefully this week. Matt will get that on there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you to you all. So there we go. Thank you, everyone. And well, I suppose we better do some commercial aviation. It says, is everyone ready?
Almost, yeah. Just talk amongst yourselves for a brief second, because I've got. Yeah, no, I'm ready now. Here we go.
Oh, okay. I had a fun story. I'll tell one later.
So, kicking off this week's first news story. And this one is from many points. It's headforpoints.com, theindependent.co.uk, cyprusmail.com, and travelweekly.co.uk. And actually, no, that's not, because I'm looking at last week's show notes now. So what am I saying?
Very good. Yes, okay.
Oh, no, this is from cyprusmail.com. Actually, it is one of the sites I mentioned. It's from cyprusmail.com.
That's a result.
And this one is British Airline Jet 2 picks Airbus over Boeing. I wonder when this would happen, because they've been on about this for a while now. So British Airline and holiday group Jet 2 unveiled a deal to buy dozens of Airbus jets, silly people, worth $4.9 billion at list prices on Tuesday this week, switching loyalties from US plane maker Boeing as airlines gear up for travel rebound in Europe. The order for 36 A321 Neojets with options for to add 24 more confirms efforts reported by Reuters last month for Airbus to unseat its arch rival in a fierce competition returns for the coronavirus blighted aviation sector. The roughly 240 seat A321 Neos have been outselling large versions of the Boeing 737 MAX by a wide margin, though Boeing has been narrowing the gap through sales to US carriers since the safety ban on the MAX was lifted last year. Jet2 said it would finance its first ever Airbus purchase through a combination of its internal resources and debt, and its shares fell 1.7%, underperforming a slightly weaker market. So it says the planes would be delivered between 2023 and 2028, and noted that the airlines typically win discounts on list prices. We all know that. Industry sources say such discounts are usually at least 50%. Blimey, that's not a bad discount. Airbus, who shares eased 0.2%, said each aircraft would be configured for 232 seats. The deal comes as Boeing's largest European customer, Irish budget Ryanair, keeps Boeing waiting for a long-awaited deal to buy at least 200 Boeing 737 MAX 10s, which competes with the A321neo. It also turns the page on a difficult 16 months for the UK travel industry. Pandemic travel restrictions have lasted longer in Britain than the rest of Europe, and while demand has started to recover, fears over last-minute rule changes have hampered many bookings. A year of booking surges followed by waves of holiday cancellations and restriction changes has, however, helped boost the popularity of package holidays as customers see a benefit of an operator reorganising the whole trip for them. Jet2 raised £422 million, or $586 million, through a share issue in February, which it said was to help it ride out the COVID-19 pandemic. Just want to note, Jet2 currently here in the UK uses 7 Boeing 737-300s, blimey, old school, 74 Boeing 737-800s, and 8 757-200s. And as I said, the A321s will be configured to 232 passengers, while their original 757-200s at the moment seats 235. So it proves a point there that the 757 is, or this A321, I should say, is a very good sort of fill-in slot for the retiring 757s. But I still love the 75 anyway. I know Matt doesn't, but I'm a big fan.
I think this is interesting, right? Because we're going to start seeing more and more stories about the retirement of the 757. I think they're still going to be flying for years and years to come, but like so many other aircraft compared to these modern fuel-efficient composite aircraft, these other airplanes are going to start getting phased out.
Do you think they'll start like they've done with the 747? Because I mean that 747, although it's retired from like doing passenger flights and stuff, pretty much like all but gone. Well, in fact, they are all gone now. I think apart from a couple of planes now. I mean, do you think perhaps the 75 will move into like sort of freighter type?
Yeah, I think so. 75s can be converted to freighter. I think we're probably going to start seeing them much like 727s did back in the day and 707s back before that. Probably end up in some emerging economy countries. They'll get sold off. I mean, they'll still fly, but as far as the large carriers in Europe and the US, they're all probably going to move to these newer next generation aircraft.
Indeed.
So Matt, you've got story number 2, and it's a kind of a tech kind of story just for you.
Yeah, so this is on the aircraftinteriorsInternational.com website, and the headline is Wireless IFE added to QantasLink passenger experience. So travellers flying with QantasLink, the Australian regional subsidiary carrier of Qantas Group, can soon enjoy free Wi-Fi wireless in-flight entertainment, WIFE, on board. The airline is deploying WOW WIFE systems from Blue Box Aviation Systems across its fleet, initially on its Airbus A320 aircraft, but then expanding to its Fokker 100s, Boeing 717s, and Alliance Airlines Embraer E190 aircraft. Passengers can access IFE content, including movies, TV, audiobooks, and podcasts over a captive wireless network, while their own personal electronic devices, such as cell phones or tablets. Access to the Blue Box WOW system will be integrated with the Qantas Entertainment app, but the entertainment will also be available app-free with simple browser access for anyone who does not have the app loaded on their device. QantasLink has opted for the aircraft-powered version of Blue Box WOW with automated PA pause functionality, so passengers won't miss crew announcements during their flight. The aircraft-powered hardware, a compact unit that can be stowed in the overhead stowage bins recently received an EASA STC for the Airbus A320 family aircraft and will be modified for use on other aircraft types in QantasLink's fleet. Now, Carlos, you got me a picture for this, didn't you? And I must admit, I am quite astounded at how tiny this bit of tech is. I mean, it is ridiculous. I mean, it just looks like a massive battery. That's literally all it looks like, and it's essentially a powered box. I dare say it'll run on I don't know what is the power system tends to be in these aircraft, Armando. What voltage is available?
Oh, everything.
Oh, really? Okay.
There's everything. There's 12-volt systems. There's 24-volt, 28-volt systems. There's 115-volt systems. There's 400 hertz systems. John Jester was talking about this in the chat room the other week when we were doing a different story, how the 747 has something like 5-6 different power systems.
Yeah.
And that's just because you have so many different things like this that are powered in different ways that the aircraft are.
I mean, it's a very neat piece of kit, isn't it? I suppose, and as long as the range is strong enough, I guess I mean, this is going to be. I mean, you could literally using that and the passengers' devices, you could literally put IFE on any aircraft, couldn't you? With this little box.
Yeah, I have a question for our guest host.
Well, I want to say there will never be a good excuse for missing this podcast now.
There you go.
Yeah, but how do we get it on their box? That's the. I mean,
how much did you guys pay her to be here? I'm looking forward to
the fee is currently undisclosed, Armando. That is
checking our
too high to mention.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you know what? Despite the fact that Megan and I actually met we didn't meet on the aircraft. We met at the bar.
The airport.
Right. At the airport at the bar.
They are synonymous.
We don't fly together very often. So if you were flying by yourself, are you a book person?
Oh yeah.
Or are you
a
in-flight entertainment?
Nah, I like.
You're not going to watch movies
book.
or anything.
No. So even if the IFE is decent, for example, you wouldn't be like the screen was in front of you. Would you watch a film over reading a book, or would it just be a book?
It would just be a book. I never have an opportunity to just sit down and disconnect. So I take the dedicated time on a flight to disconnect, weirdly enough.
Actually, Meg, are you a Kindle girl or a real proper proper? Good.
Yeah, I need to have paper. Yeah.
We've talked about that. Nev actually brings.
Did we mention my birthday? I'm no longer a spring chicken, so I like my paper books.
I was going to say I'll loan her some books from the aviation library here.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Actually, I can't say that because there's a website called Skyberry. I forgot what I was going to say now. I don't know.
Because you just cost the podcast a bunch of money with that little slip.
Quite. Well done. Yeah, team effort.
As we said at the top of the show, patreon.com.
Right.
Plain Talking UK. Anyway.
Let's buy Megan a book, shall we? Yeah. Right.
We'll buy you a book. Staying with our lovely guest this evening. Megan, you've got the next story, and it's bad news for Nev.
I feel like this originally was Nev's story, but then the mystery guest just got it because it is about British Airways. This is from simpleflying.com. British Airways removes the A380 from their schedule until late March 2022. In its latest scheduled changes, British Airways has removed the Airbus A380. The shift ties in with the launch of the IATA summer season on March 26, but could be subject to further changes due to the evolving nature of the current situation. British Airways CEO Sean Doyle has been reasonably clear that he expects the giant of the skies to return to his airline's fleet. Nev, happy days. The question is more one of whether rather than if. Unlike Emirates, the British flag carrier is holding off returning the type to service for the time being. The earliest flights are currently scheduled for March 27th, with the aircraft scheduled to fly to Dubai, Johannesburg, Los Angeles, Miami, San Francisco, and Singapore. All flights are planned as daily, apart from Dubai. The old schedule had seen BA planning to increase its A380 schedule from roughly 90 rotations a month from November to March to around 170 a month from April to July. While the A380 has been removed from the schedule from October to late March, it remains at previously planned levels from April onwards. Of course, late March is over half a year away, and it is entirely possible that BA's plans could change in the meantime. This could see the A380 returning sooner if major international routes reopen, prompting a considerable demand. Equally, the airline could further push the aircraft's return back in the event of further negative changes as the pandemic develops.
I feel so bad for the A380. It's on, it's off, it's getting retired, it's not getting retired. Lee Davies, just said that the boss of Qantas said that the A380 is perfect for its big markets. BA is bringing them back. Oh, it's like the little airplane that could. Like, it's not a little airplane; it's the world's biggest airplane. But
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for it,
But we've said this before, haven't we? It's an aircraft that basically arrived too late, isn't it? I mean, it should have come much, much earlier, and then perhaps there would have been the love for it. I mean, people love the aircraft. That isn't the issue. It's just it's no longer financially viable. I think that is the issue, isn't it?
Judging by the stories that we keep running every week about this aircraft, I'm so glad that we've had the luck, me and Gemma, to travel on the 380 as many times as we have. So, but I thought it was nice. It was, if you're in the window seat on them, because the curvature of the fuselage is quite more considerable than other airlines.
How is the boarding process? I hate boarding an airplane that has 100 people on it. I can't imagine 600 people or whatever they cram into those.
It's no different, actually, to be honest with you, Armando. It's no different to boarding, like I say, a 777 or a 330. The time it takes to board, because they normally have two air corridors onto the, what do you call them?
The
jetways, that's the one. Jetways onto the aircraft. They're filling up at kind of both two different doors, so they fill up fairly quick. But no, in the passenger experience, they're nice, roomy. Matt, I think you'd love them because there's tons of room, especially with Emirates, even in economy.
I'd love it just because it wasn't a 757 for no other reason than because.
And I'll tell you what, the best thing with Qantas, we flew back with Qantas on the 380 from Dubai back to London Heathrow, and the best thing about Qantas's A380s is that they have a cookie bar at the rear where the steps
you have
are.
my full attention.
And it's a help yourself cookie bar, and I did help myself.
Once again, you have my full attention,
including my rucksack, which also helped itself, and my carry-on. Anyway, moving swiftly on before anyone from Qantas was watching the show. Bill's coming in for cookies here.
Right, yeah, I quite believe it, yeah.
Armando, good news for your side of the pond.
Yeah, we're going to take it local with this story. Funny enough, I've spent quite a bit of time in Roswell, New Mexico, but this is from rdrnews.com, and an education group plans for a 2021 youth aviation event. An aviation and STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math event for an area middle school and high school students plans to make its return to Roswell, New Mexico in October. The non-for-profit New Mexico Aero Education is gearing up to hold the 8th annual Aviation Aerospace STEM Expo on October 14th at the Roswell Air Center and its nearby hangars. That's according to Bill Short, a lead organizer and educational and career exploration event. The expo would not occur in 2020, of course, because of the pandemic and related restrictions, but it was held at the Air Center in 2019, the first time it was hosted in Roswell. That year, about 3,500 students from around the state came to the event. Now, they said, we have promised Roswell 3 years of doing the event. We had such a successful event in 2019 that we thought there was a huge interest. And there are jobs and a need down there for people to get involved in aviation. So we thought that we should focus on going there at least one more time. Now, he said that his group would like to see Eastern New Mexico University in Roswell, one of its partners in 2019 and the 2021 Expo, hold the Roswell event in future years. The non-for-profit then would plan to hold a similar event somewhere else in the state. So although the COVID situation could change by October, Short said that his organization plans to bring in 50 or more exhibitors to the Air Center for the event, which is scheduled from 9 to 3 p.m. Participants are expected to include private aviators, the military, aviation and aerospace businesses, educational and workforce training entities. Student groups would also be rotated in smaller groups during the day to allow for social distancing hand sanitizing station, and other health safety measures would be provided. So the expo is free to students. However, the organization, relying on individual and corporate donations, as well as its partnership with ENMU and other entities, they put on this event, which can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $35,000. This year, that cost is expected to be at the low range because the event will not be statewide, but instead focus on about 25 schools in the Roswell and nearby communities, as well as a few tribal schools. So let me give you a little bit of background here. Roswell, well, first of all, let's start big. So New Mexico here in the US is huge for aerospace. It's one of the leading states for aerospace companies. The government of New Mexico prides itself on its support of aviation and aerospace, which is why you have some pretty large companies at the Albuquerque's Sunport, as well as Spaceport America, where Virgin Galactic is based. Unfortunately, Virgin Galactic just got grounded. That's probably a story for next week, but the FAA is looking into some of the events from that day. But there is a lot of real estate in New Mexico where aviation activities can take place. It's got, in Albuquerque, they host I think it's the world's biggest balloon festival, which is Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque. And then there are military bases. You have Holloman Air Force Base, Cannon Air Force Base, Kirtland Air Force Base. So it's huge for aviation. Roswell itself is a gigantic depot for aircraft storage. And it's like one of those places, like Sam Chewy on his channel, they went over to, I think, it was either San Bernardino or Mojave or something like that on the channel. But it's a place where it's just got hundreds and hundreds of airplanes, including Elvis's corporate jet is sitting at the Roswell Air Center. So it's a great place to just host an aviation event. Very cool that they're doing this. I'm sure this is happening nationwide with other organizations, but at least in New Mexico, these students from Roswell and probably Hobbs and Clovis and some of the other nearby towns will get a chance to explore this. So,
can I call out a funny comment from the chat?
Yeah,
Captain Cruz says there is a lot of space in New Mexico.
Isn't that the thing? Whenever you hear the word,
Yeah.
whenever you hear that word, Roswell and Mexico, you just instantly think of, UFOs.
What? Yeah, I think of UFOs every time I hear the word, Roswell.
Yep.
That was a test.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh, hello, what's going on here? Yeah.
Felix Baumgartner, he did his high altitude parachute jump in New Mexico, also at White Sands. It was like 100 and something thousand feet that he jumped out of a balloon from.
As you do.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah. I could say absolutely bonkers. Yeah.
Very cool. Cool local story there in Roswell, but hey, we're all about getting youth into aviation, and look up your local STEM camp.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You guys have some great things for young people in the US.
Oh, definitely.
And we do here in the UK, but you do have some good things in the US.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next story. This is from breakingtravelnews.com, and great for couples, this one. Virgin Atlantic introduces the booth to the A350. So Virgin Atlantic has revealed a new interior for its A350 aircraft, designed specifically with leisure customers in mind. The changes include an increased number of seats in both the premium and economy cabins, alongside a new social space for its upper class customers. The booth is the latest innovation in Virgin Atlantic's social spaces and is exclusively available for customers traveling to the airline's sunny leisure destinations on board the A350. Tucked away in the upper class cabin, the space aspires to create a cozy corner, providing a comfy lounge-style seating for two people separated by a single leaf table. The styling and finishes, which include luxurious leather seats and almond gold highlights, are designed to be in tune with the airline's award-winning loft space featured across the mainline A350 fleet. The booth encapsulates encapsulated by two 27-inch touchscreen monitors, allowing customers a window into a fully immersive experience. The content of the monitors will be continuously updated and tailored to the route and time of day, meaning that the look and feel of the booth will evolve over time. Initial content will include a digital art gallery featuring up-and-coming artists and a tail and belly cam of the aircraft. Additionally, there are two Bluetooth audio jacks, meaning customers can connect headsets to the monitor's audio. And customers traveling between Heathrow and Orlando are planned to be the first to experience the newest aircraft, with the first flight currently scheduled for December this year. Other leisure destinations included are going to be Barbados, which will receive the new aircraft later in 2022. Now, Matt, you'd obviously got the pictures there of the booth for our listeners and viewers to see on the show. What are your thoughts, Armando? I can see you shaking your head there.
I have
go
a
on,
thought.
Megan.
Obviously, Carlos, this was going to be your anniversary gift, but because their first flight is going to be between Heathrow and Orlando, and I don't know about travel during COVID, and now, so we tried to make that deal, but they just wouldn't have it, and sorry.
Yeah. Oops.
Also, I would like to... No, you can't negate that point. Also, I would like to say that this cozy corner providing comfy lounge style seating for two separated by a single leaf table sounds an awful lot like your RV.
Yeah, it sounds like a camper.
It does. No, it really does. I don't know if this is. I don't see that as a luxury thing. Do you know what I mean? I mean, my idea of a luxury thing is a bit of space. Yeah. It's like I mean, the business class thing. That the whole exciting thing about that is I mean, yes, definitely, no grumbles there. But it's that whole lie flat bed thing. You've got space. I mean, if you had that space to yourself without the silly table in the middle, I might be more excited, or if you want to go down that route of like luxury and all that kind of thing, then like the A380 with its bar, I mean, I just think, to me, that is luxury on an aeroplane. Do you know what I mean? Where you can actually go and grab a drink. You're almost expected to wander around and socialise while you're 30,000 feet in the air, or whatever the silly number is that you fly at. I don't really know.
But Virgin Atlantic put some cool LED lighting on it, so it's upper
super
class.
80s, and so now it's
Oh, don't say that, because Carlos will cry. Because if you've ever seen his truck, it's got the most ridiculous amount of LED lights you've ever seen in your entire...
80s is trending.
Is it? Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's to be honest with you...
Which must mean that I'm trending. That's my birth
right,
year.
Okay. I mean, I have to admit the Carlos's truck looks very much like something not of this country, I'll be honest with you, especially with It's got a look
that sounds
about
like a compliment to me.
Yeah, all right.
So would you prefer a cozy couch if they took that space and
I would personally.
Couch?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't say it's got it's got that smack of sort of like 60s diner about it. Do you know what I mean, with the little fold away table and stuff. It doesn't smack to me the height of luxury and something that I'd want to do. I mean, you go there with your mates for, a milkshake. That's what I see when I see those pictures.
I will say that when we flew to Vegas with Virgin Atlantic many years ago, with Virgin up in the 747, and we got invited into the upper class area on there. They had the bar area on there was really nice. The way they had it laid out was just like a real bar, with a seating, bar area, the drinks behind and stuff. And it did feel like really, it's really good, really good. Virgin do things very well when it comes to, I think, aircraft interiors and color schemes, especially.
But I genuinely think they've missed a trick here. It doesn't sit well with me at all. I just don't think it's any good, personally.
So are the booths for the premium and economy cabins, or are those for the upper class customers? Because if it's for premium and economy, then...
Yeah. I suppose. I don't know what.
He wants to be segregated from
yeah.
the minions.
Again, I don't see
No,
that.
I'm just wondering. Like, they didn't specify. Oh no, it does say upper class cabin. It is in the upper class cabin. Okay.
I was gonna say she's been super swanky since we fly American Airlines.
I know, right?
In economy.
I mean,
I'm just jealous of the people who can afford this kind of thing. That's all.
Yeah,
That's what this really
I
is.
think that's. I think we're all in the same boat here. I mean, I must say.
I want to point out some chat room comments from
Captain
Go on.
Oh boy. Yeah, go on.
If it wasn't for that silly table in the middle of the way, surely these people would use these cozy corner for something nefarious. And he goes on to say that when Virgin Atlantic first introduced large diaper change down, fold down tables in larger toilets, they were always broken off the hinges for some reason.
Right. Okay.
Heavy babies, of course.
Heavy babies, yes.
Heavy babies. That's clearly what it is. Now, actually, I found from the archive. Actually, here we go. Now, tell me that doesn't. What does that look like to you? Somebody describe that picture to me. That is Carlos's truck. I should just stress.
That looks like a Ghostbusters truck.
Oh, don't say that. That makes it cool. You've ruined what
cool.
I was going to say, it looks like Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely. See that coming down the road at night. Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, I'm sporting the American Eagle in the background there. Come on.
He does.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He does occasionally send me a video from his truck. Parked, of course, not from driving. Right?
No. He'd never do that. No.
With some good old country music and
absolutely.
Americana music.
Nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness me.
Matt, you...
There go all our listeners. Well done.
You've got the next story, Matt. Which,
have I? Right.
Yes, I know. And this one is a record-breaking story, just for a change.
Okay, fair enough. So we've got it's autoevolution.com is the website, and the headline is Rolls-Royce 87,000 HP gearbox sets new world record, and it could power an entire city. So one of the most important engine manufacturers in the world, with a significant legacy in the aerospace industry, Rolls-Royce breaks the norm again with a new world aerospace record. Rolls-Royce has been developing its highly advanced UltraFan aircraft engine as part of an effort to support sustainable aviation. According to the company's estimates, it's going to take time for this particular sector to transition to sustainable fuels, which will inevitably become with greater costs compared to traditional fuel, at least in the beginning. Highly efficient, innovative engines such as UltraFan will become an important factor in making this transition easier by increasing performance and reducing costs. An important component of the UltraFan is the power gearbox, the PGB, that has recently set a new world record. Tests at the company's Dachwelz facility near Berlin demonstrated its ability to reach an astounding power level of 87,000 horsepower or 67 megawatts. Enough to power a town the size of the British city Bath, which is 29 kilometres squared. This performance record marks a milestone in the development of the next generation aircraft engine. Thanks to the PGB, the UltraFan engine is 25% more fuel efficient compared to the first generation of Rolls-Royce Trent engines. In fact, the PGB that has what is called a planetary design, and each planet can hold the force of a Trent XWB engine by enabling the rear turbine of the engine to run at high speed while the front fan runs at lower speed. This gearbox makes the engine more efficient at various thrust levels. Testing of this cutting-edge gearbox began in 2017 at the dedicated test facility. Before this new record, previous power tests showed its ability to manage the equivalent power of an entire grid of Formula One cars. Other demonstrations included the flight simulations with integrated gearbox through different flight phases. The record-breaking power gearbox is set to be delivered for the UltraFan demonstrator engine UF001 by the end of the year. The first test of the next generation engine will be conducted entirely on sustainable fuels. Now, Armando, what are we thinking about this? I mean, it sounds quite... it sounds exciting. I mean, is it genuinely, a step forward?
Sure. So it's interesting that the power gearbox is just a portion of a jet engine. It could be a portion of a jet engine, a turbine engine, a couple different parts, right? So the ability for the gearbox itself to have the capacity of 87,000 horsepower is pretty significant. That won't be what the engine puts out at the end of the day, right? Because you have a lot of loss in different parts of the engine as it's rotating. When they're talking about the planetary gears, you have to take things that are spinning really, really, really fast and then reduce them down to pseudo really, really, really fast, and then that gets reduced down to a really fast. And in the case of turboprops, and that gets reduced down even more to 1700 RPM.
So it'll just be basic fast.
It'll be basic fast, yeah. It goes, I mean, in a turbine engine, it goes from somewhere around the 40,000 RPM at the power turbine to something like 1700 RPM. So it gets reduced down a couple times, right? Those numbers vary wildly depending on the engine. Those numbers are specific to the PT6, right, which is your most common turboprop engine. But these the ability for these gearboxes to handle that much power coming through it is pretty significant. So that means that they can almost take the engine and design it around, its limitations, which is what engineers do anyways. But so yeah, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, and that just goes to materials manufacturing and engineering, modern day composite materials and additive manufacturing. Like that, they're just, man, we just keep reaching for the sky, to use an airplane pun. For
oh dear.
And if anyone can do it, it's going to be Rolls-Royce.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So on to the next story, and Megan, this one is all for you.
I've hijacked the show, guys, and I'm sorry, and I'm also not sorry, because I saw this story, and I know that it was supposed to probably be just like a final fun thing, but I have to go and pick up the child from school, so I'm going to read the last story because it's super fun, and then I'm out.
Fair enough. You've stuck around longer than most. I'll give you that.
I wish I could stick around for the whole thing, but the child awaits.
Fair enough.
So this is from NottinghamPost.com. This is a very interesting story about flying things. So police catch a pigeon at East Midlands Airport after an extensive chase. Police were called to the chase after a pigeon, which had gotten loose at East Midlands Airport. It was the airport police's first job on Wednesday, September 1st, as they managed to corner and catch the bird at the airport. The force then contacted the owner from Middlesbrough. Sure.
Middlesbrough, you're right. Middlesbrough. Yeah, very good.
And arranged for the pigeon to be collected.
Of course.
East Midlands Airport Police said in a tweet, never a dull moment at East Midlands Airport. We are just full of puns. Never a dull moment at East Midlands Airport. First job was to catch that pigeon. After an extensive foot chase through the terminal, he was cornered and had nowhere to go. He then gave up without too much resistance. The owner from Middlesbrough was contacted and arranged its collection. The force added, "We bet you didn't see that coming in yesterday's feather forecast." Perhaps the police should have called on Dastardly and Muttley in their flying machines.
I feel like that's a British thing. You know what?
I feel like that was a side note and not part of the story.
Never a dull moment at East Midlands Airport. I feel like if they're catching a pigeon and that's the highlight of their day,
probably a lot of dull.
There's probably a lot of dull.
Oh, just not dull, just normal everyday moments.
That's good in aviation.
You've told me many times that aviation is a combination of mostly boring flying with like moments of sheer terror.
That's pretty much it.
The majority is just boring.
Richard Adams has said in the chat room, "Stop the pigeon. Didn't we mention wacky races on last week's show?" Here he is, Dastardly and Muttley. One of my favourite cartoons, I will say, from back in the 80s, Dastardly and Muttley. Stop the pigeon, stop the...
We certainly didn't have it in Puerto Rico growing up.
You'll have to Google it. You'll have to Google it.
Yeah,
Megan's,
absolutely. One of the best
Dastardly and
cartoons
Muttley.
ever. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just discovered Sky King, which was a show back in the 50s, I guess. So, yeah.
Sky King. No, I don't know that. What's
It's this guy
that?
who goes around in a Cessna 310 and a twin Bonanza, like
What does he do?
rescuing people in California.
He's a king.
Sky King. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good.
I know.
What's his lineage?
Wow.
Our chat room will know.
You're right.
the show Sky
Okay.
King.
Never heard of it. No. But then stop the pigeon. That's all I've got to say.
Well,
there we
hey,
go.
you know what? Thank you to the East Midlands Airport Police for catching the pigeon.
What an important
Absolutely.
job.
Very important job. Yeah. Never mind all the burglars and the criminals and the stabbings and all that kind of thing. As long as the pigeon is safe, that's the main thing. Hey.
Exactly.
Very true.
It was recovered.
Right.
It was
Yes.
recovered.
Good.
Yes,
Yeah,
without
no,
too much
that's-
resistance.
That's fair enough. Yes. Never mind that. Anyway, no. Political. Stop it. Smith. Moving on.
Matt, do you want to take the next
Indeed.
story?
I think we better say goodbye to our lovely guest, though.
Yeah,
first,
we better
don't
say
I
goodbye.
know, I'm
Thanks
so
for joining
sorry.
us,
Yeah.
Megan.
It was so good to be here. Thanks for letting me crash the party for
Absolutely.
a minute.
Anytime, Megan. We'll see you again
Anytime.
soon, hopefully, yeah?
Bye. Yes.
Bye-bye. Take care. See you later.
Bye, chat.
Yeah. Oh, steady.
She's just fell off a chair.
And there she was
Crashing
off.
into
Yeah,
things on the way out.
absolutely. Okay, so...
Actually, going to say a quick hello, actually, to Katie, who's joined us in the chat room.
Oh, is she?
And
Oh.
GB's Model Zone as well. Hello to you.
Oh,
Thank
very
you for joining
good.
us
Yes.
in the
Is
chat room this evening.
is that producer Katie, is it?
That's producer Katie.
Is
Yeah,
it?
she's joined us in
Oh,
the chat
very
room.
good.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, blimey.
Best behaviour, Matt.
Why,
Best
I
behaviour.
can say, are we in trouble? Is that what?
I don't know.
Probably. I spend most of my life in trouble, it seems. Anyway, so what's this? This is the chaviation.com is the next story, and the headline is Kazakhstan's SCAT Airlines. Oh, Nev is never here when you need him, is he? Adds first Boeing 737 MAX 9. Seriously, is this an actual aircraft? No. Anyway, SCAT Airlines took delivery of its first 737-9 on August the 27th, 2021. UP Bravo 37. He's gone. Carlos is gone. That's it. He's gone. Look. You're right there.
I'm fine.
Good, lovely. Anyway, who would call their airline SCAT Airline? What's wrong with people? Anyway, UPB 3726, come on, let's be professional, was ferried from Seattle Boeing Airfield via Reykjavik and Istanbul to Shymkent in August 28th, but is yet to be deployed into revenue service for the Kazkar carrier. Flight Radar 24 ADS-B data shows SCAT has yet to file schedules for the type, although it is said it would begin operating the aircraft within a week. The jet is configured for up to 213 passengers in a single class layout. The newly delivered Dash 9 joins SCAT's 737-8, which the aircraft took in March 2018 and reactivated after a nearly 2-year grounding in February 2021. The carrier has a further 4 Boeing 737 MAX on firm order from Boeing, all of which are Dash 9 variants. Deliveries are scheduled over the next 2 years. Besides the 2 737 MAX aircraft, SCAT Airlines also operates 5 737-300s, 3 737-500s, 1 737-700, 2 737-800s, 4 757-200s, 1 767-300ER, and 7 CRJ-200s. The CH Aviation Fleet's advanced module shows. Well, I think we did quite well to get through that. There's a lot of numbers in there, isn't there?
A lot of numbers.
A lot of numbers indeed.
Also, it's good to see some more airlines taking on the MAX. I know it's had its issues, but I think it's starting to win back some praise from the airlines. Now, I did read a thing online actually this week that there was an airline in the US that had been reviewing the fuel saving figures for the MAX, and that it was quite big. It was quite a high percentage of money they'd saved per seat mile using the MAX as opposed to the standard, the original engined 737. So it does save money and it's more fuel efficient. So that's always good.
Certainly agreed there.
So Armando, you've got the next story, and you guys are having some serious water issues over in the US right now.
Oh yeah, we've had hurricanes, we've had tropical storms, we've got fires going on out west. It's pretty much a Nicolas Cage movie in the United States right now. Let's see. This next story is from BusinessInsider.com. United Airlines canceled hundreds of flights after severe flooding at the Newark airport in the terminal, ramp, and baggage areas. So the remnants of Hurricane Ida brought severe flooding to the airport on Wednesday, leaving a river of water throughout the terminal, baggage area, and the ramp. United Airlines was forced to cancel. This is one of their hubs, is Newark, but they were forced to cancel hundreds of flights on Wednesday and Thursday, according to FlightAware, leaving passengers stranded at the flooded airport. So they said, due to conditions at Newark Liberty Airport resulting from the overnight severe weather in the region, we have temporarily suspended operations. Our teams at Newark are working to assist our customers and expect to resume flights later this afternoon, depending on the conditions at the time. So according to National Weather Service, the airport got over 3 inches of rain in 1 hour between 8 and 9 p.m. on Tuesday night, and 8 inches of total on Wednesday in Newark. Most of the canceled flight activity was, of course, United Airlines, which it has a major operating base out of this airport. Some passengers on Twitter voiced their frustration over the challenges of reaching United customer service amid the chaos. Many expressed distaste over the airline's lack of communication over how to retrieve their luggage or change flights. There's a couple tweets in there. Please, people, be patient. If an airport is flooded, trust me, they got bigger problems on their hands than your carry-on luggage. Just, sometimes you just got to smile at people.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is huge, right? Everything is running underground. You've got power lines, you've got electricity, communications, fuel lines. Everything is running underground at a major airport like Newark, and including some tunnels for the baggage carts to go through, for emergency services. Like all these things are running through there. The air traffic control, ground to surface radars, which are on top of each terminal. Their communications are running underground. So
I mean, taking it away from aviation for a moment, if I may. I mean, obviously you've got the subway in New York as well. I mean, that must have some severe issues going on as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, these weather systems create just absolute havoc in all of transportation and emergency services and public utilities and things like that. But yeah, it's the safest thing to do. Not to mention, from an aviation standpoint, standing water on a ramp is very difficult to navigate around with the ground service equipment, to all your tugs and baggage carts and all that stuff. But landing in those conditions extends your takeoff and landing rolls significantly. So absolutely the safest thing to do is just shut things down for a couple hours and figure out where you're going to go from there. But
true.
I was going to ask a question, Armando, which you might know. How far above or ASL is Newark?
It's not much. I think Newark's probably 30, 40 feet maximum.
All right.
Wow.
I just wonder whether it's set in quite a low area of the US. That's all.
Well, Newark Airport is right on. Somebody is going to correct me. I think it's the Hudson River, because the East River is on the east side of Manhattan. So I think it's right on the Hudson River, which is at sea level. It all empties out right into the bay there.
Yeah, it looked. There's a lot of videos and stuff circulating on social media showing various sort of pictures and stuff from the airport.
17 feet for KEWR, 17 feet above sea level.
Wow. That's not
so. Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of water, but it wouldn't take much, if you like, for it to have an effect, would it? Because that's not very high.
Well, yeah, but this could happen at any airport. I mean, Newark is right next to the water, just like JFK is, just like LaGuardia is, just like Boston Logan. Boston Logan is half the airport sits out in the water. But the problem here was the amount of rainfall that's just going through the drainage systems and pooling up under the buildings. You guys have seen these. I mean, even Stansted. If you go to Stansted as you're walking from sort of the main terminal to that satellite Ryanair terminal
Yeah.
or EasyJet terminal, you can see how many tunnels,
Yeah.
including the train goes below ground level. So regardless of sea level, this amount of water would create havoc anywhere.
Oh, absolutely, and of course, you know, uh, even places like Dubai. I mean, I've seen pictures. I think it was around about the 200th, and one of my friends actually sent some pictures in, and it was they were at the airport, the main one that Emirates flies into and out of, and the underground car park was all just because it just random flash flooding, and suddenly the underground car park was, they're pushing cars through waters because they won't start and stuff like that, as you say, because all airports rely heavily on what's underneath it, not just what we see. Yeah.
So moving on to the next story, and as if things couldn't get any worse for passengers, this airline is shrinking the size of its seats.
Oh, good.
So this one comes from onemileatatime.com, and Porter Airlines, which is over in Armando's neck of the woods, introducing the world's lightest seats. The Porter Airlines has updated the interiors of its fleet of 29 Bombardier Q400 aircraft. The most significant change is that these aircraft will now feature the new Taisi E2 from LP Seat, marketed as being the world's lightest aircraft seat. With this, the airline has also added an additional row of seats to each plane. Blimey. Porter Airlines Q400s used to feature 74 seats with a 32-inch of pitch. Porter Airlines Q400s now feature 78 seats, that's an increase of 4 seats, with a 30-inch of pitch. The airline claims that the slim design of the seats enhances the legroom, since seat pitch doesn't measure legroom, but rather how much space the seat takes up. In addition to these thin seats allowing Porter to squeeze more seats in, the airline also highlights that they are roughly 50% lighter than the previous seats and reduce aircraft weight by around 1,000 pounds. The airline expects this will reduce the annual fuel consumption by around 500,000 litres and the corresponding CO2 emissions by around 1,200 metric tons. In addition to the new seats, Porter Airlines has also added new carpeting, lavatory enhancements, and new sideboards and updated LED lighting. Now, Matt has got a couple of pictures, one of the original seats that Porter had on their Q400s and one of these new slimline, fancy, lightweight seats. And I think if you look there on the screen now, you'll see the old seats interior. Now, I mean, they look nice.
Just describe the old seats for those who are listening to the audio version.
So for those that are listening to the audio podcast, the old seats look really nicely well padded, plenty of nice supple kind of spongy padding on the seats. The collars of the seats stick out quite. They're quite a thick seat, so obviously plenty of padding in these. And then if we switch to the new interior seats,
they're better than I thought.
I mean, you can see they're visually a lot thinner in the backs.
I won't fit in it, but
but you can honestly see the difference between those two. I mean, these seats look like half as padded out as the original seats. So I
get that they want to save weight and stuff.
Save weight,
I get that, but I mean, come on. I mean, it's just like.
I suppose the only saving grace is these aircraft are, I think, Armando will, if I'm wrong, point out, but these are kind of commuter aircraft that are used for short flights. So you're not going to be sitting on these aircraft for sort of 5 or 6 hours.
I guess, but...
Well, so what's interesting is Porter runs, so they're mainly based in Toronto, the Toronto Downtown Airport, and they have mostly destinations in Ontario and a couple in New Brunswick and Newfoundland, I think. But you could find yourself a couple hours on this because they actually run service to Chicago, Boston, Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is nowhere near Toronto, Newark, as we were just talking about, and Washington, D.C. And I believe they were operating out of such a small airport, not the major airport in Toronto, that they for weight and balance purposes and performance, despite the Q400 being traditionally a STOL airplane, short takeoff and landing, they actually had to reduce the number of seats to 70 for a couple of flights instead of 78. So with these lighter seats, they can go back up to 78 by saving a couple hundred pounds just on aluminum and foam and trim and things like that. So They all know what they're doing. The money guy always knows what he's doing in these airline industry.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but sometimes they sort of forget that people have actually got to sit on these things.
Yeah, on these things.
I'm sorry, the who?
The humans. You remember the humans? The humans that are paying for this stupid thing in the first place.
I just put in the chat room there. There's a conversation going in there, and I just put in there that for me, the worst seating was on Virgin Atlantic's A330.
Really?
Flew on
right.
in economy, and those seats were like, geez,
not great.
They were not great.
No,
not for the length of flight that we're on anyway. With those, they were pretty
Indeed.
hideous. Yeah,
indeed. Okay, let's move on to the
next story.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt, this is great. I chose this especially for you because I knew you'd love this. But
so the headline says the 10 things that annoy us most after a holiday. So this is from the Derby Telegraph. Be interesting to hear Armando's take on some of these as well. Landing on home soil to an empty fridge has been revealed as the biggest annoyance for Brits when returning from holiday, according to brand new research by EasyJet, followed by a mountain of post-holiday washing, 67%, and unpacking suitcases, 62%. The research was commissioned as the airline launches a brand new food delivery partnership with Uber Eats to help its hungry passengers coming home from holiday flights in September and help alleviate the leading post-holiday annoyance. As part of the partnership, EasyJet and Uber have created a special post-holiday fridge filler menu from Sainsbury's, which means weary post-holiday passengers can order the top post-holiday cupboard and fridge essentials with zero stress. All right, so shall we whiz through this top 10 then? Shall I just do it? Shall I?
Go on, man.
Okay,
so is it a top 10 or a bottom 10?
Well, I don't know. I suppose yeah, indeed. It's So
top 10 of most annoying annoyances for Brits.
With number one being the most annoying, I think, is what we're doing. So if you'll indulge me then.
Right, so I'll kick us off then. So in at number 10 of the most annoying things for Brits when they come home from holiday, it's watering the plants in the garden.
At number 9, it's bringing dead houseplants back to life. That's one of the... That's unexpected, isn't it? That's number 9. Armando, number 8, if you please.
Yes, I can relate to this one. In at number 8, jet lag.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's new at number 7.
Gemma's favourite, dusting around the house.
Fresh in at number 6 is adjusting to the British weather. Ain't that the truth?
All right, number 5. Worst thing to do coming home from a trip, opening and going through the post or the mail.
Yeah,
most of which are circulars.
Well, it's always blooming bills as well. That's the thing, isn't it? Anyway, number 4.
Oh, number
Catching
4.
up with lots of emails. Isn't that the truth? You come home with 140 emails. But I must admit, I've always got data, so I've usually done my emails by the time I come home.
Number 3. I actually enjoy this one personally.
Yeah, but you also enjoy ironing, so you're not normal.
I enjoy ironing.
Yeah.
This one is number 3. Unpacking your suitcase. That was 62%.
Right. Indeed. Number 2. Having to tackle a mountain of post-holiday washing, and we'll leave number 1.
I enjoy that one as well.
Yeah, I know you're weird.
And bringing it in at number 1. The reason for this story is returning to an empty fridge with no food in it. So go over to Sainsbury's and pick yourself up the post-holiday fridge filler menu.
Can I just say, me and Gemma have got this absolutely nailed, because when we go on holiday, well, when we used to, I mean, many years ago now, when things were normal.
Do you remember when?
When we go on holiday, we employ a certain person called Matt Smith to live in our house.
Yes.
Which means when we come home, all of those things, well, pretty much all of those things, are all done.
I mean, there is that, yeah. I mean, I've usually done even my bed laundry by the time you come home as well. To be fair, so I'm a fairly good guest. The only thing that he has missed on there is because the top annoyance, which is the empty fridge. I have usually emptied your fridge by the time you come back. Yeah. So we still tick the box there. It has to be said.
For me, it's cleaning. I will deep clean the house before a trip so I can come home to a clean house.
I like it.
We've got some great ones in the chat
Go
room.
on.
Richard Adams says his one is coming home at all.
Yeah, I mean, there is
totally
that.
agree with you.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Nick Codling has got another brilliant one here. For Nick Codling, from him, it's getting to the return airport only for it to be full of other Brits.
I mean, that is definitely a lose there. It's Armando, this is the most random thing here. Got nothing to do with anything here. I mean, so for us, it's like coming home and finding, it's a bit like the Germans pinching the best loungers. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. Is there a sort of like a pet peeve of like a nation that you're just like, oh really? It's a bit like rude Russians, in a restaurant, that sort of thing.
No, absolutely not. I will say I agree with him. I agree with Nick, because one of the worst things to do, or that could happen, is to get to this beautiful destination. You're in Bratislava, or you're in Zurich, or you're in Milan, and then all you hear is American voices, like all the tourists, and then you realize that those are the people that bring the money, therefore they cater to them, all the tourists, and then you realize that you're actually not in for
the
an authentic
experience you were hoping
at all.
for. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
indeed. Right, okay, we need to press on, because I'm determined to get finished, because somebody has an anniversary to go to.
I know, I do.
We need to
so
get
that is where we bring the commercial news to a close. So our next part of the show then that we've got for you this week is obviously our Caption This Just for Fun that we run on our Facebook page. So for those of you who do follow us on Facebook, hopefully you all follow us on Facebook, Plain Talking UK, will know on a Wednesday, all being well, I post a certain picture, or a picture of something aviation related. And what we do is we ask you to look at that picture and caption it with your wittiest and most funniest comment. And this week we posted a picture of, Matt's going to pop it up on the screen. And Armando, for the benefit of our listeners, just what is this picture showing?
Oh, well, without ruining some of the captions, this appears to be the fuselages of new 737s being either dumped into a river. It looks like it's somewhere in the Pacific Northwest where there's beautiful pine trees, there's a steep hill, there's a river going through it. I actually don't know what's going on in this picture. Other than there are 3 737 fuselages being dumped into a river.
No wings or anything. No wings, no engines, no nothing. This must be some kind of test facility, because they're on little ramps as well, aren't they? If you look closely.
Well, actually, before we read out the names, this was actually a story that we ran back in 2014.
Was it?
This was a story we ran in 2014, and this was a train derailment in Montana.
What?
This happened to Montana. And this was a shipment of Boeing 737 fuselages that were coming from a factory on their way to the Washington factories for Spirit Aerosystems. And these had an unfortunate accident.
And it derailed, basically.
And it derailed. A total of 19 cars in the 90 train derailed in the incident, which happened around 18 miles east of Superior, Montana.
Wow.
So there we go.
Looks like I was in the dark. Our chat room knows exactly what this is. There's multiple people in the chat room who know exactly
Captain
what it is.
Cruz, Mile High, Masha. Yeah, it's put in this snake. I like Richard's comment, but we'll perhaps come back to that in a minute. So I'll start then. Yeah,
go on then, start us off.
So first off, Mike W says the first Boeing airliners emerge from the primordial soup and begin to crawl onto land.
Richard K says the now abandoned Boeing water park never quite lived up to expectation.
Steve V says, no, they're not lost. They're just merely uncertain of their position.
Dario says more bin liners needed to clean up this particular mess.
The lovely Jenny in Rome says, what on earth's going on?
Yeah, I think that might have just been a comment to the actual picture, to be fair.
A great comment anyway, Jenny.
My thoughts exactly, Jenny.
What on earth is going on? Yeah.
One of you guys has to do this next one.
And in David Attenborough's voice.
What? That wasn't David.
And
what on earth
here
was
we
that?
have some infant, not even fully developed Boeings drinking and playing at the watering hole.
There we go. That's my best David Attenborough voice. There we go.
I mean, that's essentially a national treasure that's just been trounced here on the podcast. Oh my! I mean, it should be much. It should be much more. And here we see.
You just ruined it as well.
Yeah,
anyway,
right.
Armando.
Yes.
Dirk S says, "I told you it was a bad idea to bring in those Airbuses. They're invading the whole ecosystem now."
I like it. Jonathan Warner says it wasn't me.
Nick A, can't think who this Nick A must be.
Dunno.
Anyway, Nick A says the
Oh wait,
blood.
you have to do it in your best Nick A voice.
Oh, not my best again.
Yeah.
The blubber bulged Boeings are beached by big bellies.
No. It's not David Attenborough again.
I Anyway,
and finally,
Laura.
Yeah,
Laura, go on then. Who's it?
I'll do it. Laura H says, "If only we had arms and legs, we would be out of here in no time."
Very true. We got a few in the chat room. Richard Adams says, "At least they're going green."
That's true. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Also, Richard Adams says, "Snakes are the planes rather than
Just
just on them."
I like that one. Oh no, I don't know.
But thank you for that, everyone.
Yeah,
Very
epic
much
picture, by the way.
appreciated.
Captain Crew says, "Well done on the picture." No, I'd heard about it, but not seen it before. Oh, hello, here we go. Our Uncle Micah has been in touch. Look, millions of years ago, the first Boeings climbed from the primordial ooze to become land-based creatures.
To be fair, the 737 is quite an old project airframe now, so yeah, he's probably
Indeed. Anyway, there we go.
So thank you to everyone who commented this week. Don't forget to look out next Wednesday on Facebook for the next installment on our Caption This picture.
Indeed.
So that'll be next week. So I think it's time to hand things over to Armando.
All right, guys. Despite our best efforts, we still have a little bit of time for military. So, Matt, if you're ready, hit the button. You know, guys, I just realized what happened here. Megan had to leave just in time for the military. So even she's not a fan. My goodness. Let's see.
Your own wife can't bear it.
I know. Her and Nev are probably texting right now.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with Captain Al jumping in here and there as well.
Yeah, it's okay. The loyalists will stick with us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anyways, from defensenews.com, after the Afghanistan evacuation mission, the UK RAF is still not re-examining its plans to retire its C-130s. The arduous airlift demands of the Afghanistan evacuation mission haven't changed the UK RAF's plans to retire its C-130s by 2023, according to its top officer, who said on August 27th, "This is the first large-scale operation that we've done with our A400s, and it demonstrated that this is an aircraft with real potential and enormous capability. It flies much higher and much faster, carries a greater payload than the C-130. So, as every month goes by, my confidence in that decision grows." That's from RAF Air Chief Marshal Mike Wigston in an interview with Defense News. So the RAF ultimately transported more than 15,000 people out of Kabul from August 14th to August 28th, according to the Ministry of Defense. Wigston, who visited the United States last week to attend the Space Symposium, spoke to Defense News on Friday evening during the last hours of the UK's presence in Afghanistan. At that point, the RAF had evacuated about 8,500 Afghans, an estimated 4,500 UK passport or visa holders, and 1,500 people from other nations, according to Wigston. About 500 to 1,000 others awaited the last RAF flights out of Kabul. He continued on to say, "We have stopped taking in new people for processing over the next few hours. Those 500 to 1,000 people remaining will be taken out. At that stage, our evacuation operation will have come to an end, and we will focus on getting our people out safely." The RAF used about 15 aircraft during this evacuation mission, with half staged forward, transporting passengers from Kabul to other cities in the Middle East, and the other planes conducting flights from those cities to the United Kingdom. Over the 2-week period, aircraft spotters frequently documented British C-17s, A400s, and C-130s moving in and out of the airspace at Hamid Karzai International Airport. Now, in March, the Defense Ministry announced that as part of a command review, it would retire the RAF's remaining 14 C-130Js by 2023, which are admittedly not that old. 22 A400Ms alongside C-17s will provide a more capable and flexible transport fleet. That's according to the UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace. Despite the C-130s offering additional airlift capacity, Wixton said that there is no need for the RAF to revisit its current retirement plans. It is with heavy heart that we retire the C-130s in 2 years' time because it's been an absolute workhorse. But I have absolute confidence in the A400 and what that aircraft is able to do going forward. So far, the Airbus, there have been 20 Airbus A400Ms delivered to the RAF. Continuing on with a little bit of a story from Afghanistan, this is C-130 related. Hours after the U.S. military officially withdrew from Afghanistan, some videos first surfaced of Taliban fighters celebrating at the Kabul airport. The militants can be seen sitting inside cockpits of airplanes and helicopters that the U.S. provided to the Afghan Air Force. So while the U.S. Was able to get most of the equipment out of the country, much of it was left there abandoned and rendered inoperable. The Pentagon said they can inspect the equipment all they want, they can look at them, they can walk around, but they can't fly them. They can't operate them. We made sure to demilitarize and make unusable all of the gear that is at the airport, all of the aircraft, the ground vehicles. The only thing that we left operable are fire trucks and some forklifts so that the airport itself can remain operational going forward. There you go. And there was additional videos that have come out recently about helicopters being abandoned, and you can see some Cessna Caravans and some Tucanos that were essentially just rendered inoperable. And it doesn't take very much to do that. There's such complex aircraft that all you need to do is remove a couple parts or destroy a couple parts, and it's a bit like a rifle without the firing pin. You can't really do anything with it. So there's no danger of those aircraft being used against the people of Afghanistan.
I will say we were lucky enough, where me and Matt living here in the UK, we're lucky enough to have quite a good amount of these. We actually had a couple of these come over, C-130s fly over early this week, actually right over where I work, which is very off-putting when you're trying to concentrate on something. But there's a very distinctive noise that the C-130 makes, in my view. It sounds completely different to pretty much everything else in the air, I think. Anything, Armando?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's an old joke that says these are the 4 fans of freedom. But the C-130s, the J model specifically, has only been around for, I guess 20 years, from its inception, but a lot of them were delivered in the mid 2000s. So they're not tremendously old.
No.
Much like we said about some of the 757s, I think these C-130Js will probably get sold off or maybe bought back from the UK, from the RAF, or may end up in some other air forces that can now acquire them at a much cheaper cost.
Indeed.
So moving on to the next story, which comes from AlJazeera.com. And this is, actually moving on from something old to something even older. This next aircraft first flew in 1972. It's nearly 50 years old. Qatar receives first batch of US-made F-15 combat planes. So Qatar, or Qatar, whatever you want to call it, has received its first batch of the new generation F-15 combat aircraft produced by the US and Boeing in a partnership with the Gulf state. The rollout took place on Wednesday in a ceremony at Boeing's headquarters in the US state of Missouri, with the Qatari Minister of State and Defense Affairs, Khalid bin Mohammed Al Tahtaya, in attendance. The minister said Qatar is is acquiring the aircraft for defence purposes, adding that the new aircraft have better combat specifications and are faster than the old F-15s. The rollout of the F-15QA is momentous not just in terms of capability, but also in terms of enhanced partnership it represents, US media reported General Greg Gillott, commander of the 9th Air Force, as saying at the event. The relationship the United States has with Qatar is critical to the stability and security of the Central Command Area of responsibility, and we are grateful for our coalition partners' continued focus on building interoperability and combined readiness, he added. Qatar signed agreements to buy warplanes from the US and some European nations in 2017 after a political dispute broke out between it and its neighbors, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, Egypt and Bahrain. After the feuding, Gulf nations imposed a blockade on Doha as it agreed with the Washington and Boeing to produce at least 30 aircraft equipped with the latest technical means. Experts say the new F-15QA fighter jets are among the best in terms of speed and maneuverability during offensive and defensive missions. Boeing has provided maintenance and logistic support for Qatar F-15QA program during the pre-delivery pilot training, which began earlier this year. In addition, Boeing will establish and operate an aircrew and maintenance training center for the Qatar Emiri Air Force at Al Uaid Air Base through 2024, while also providing in-country spares and logistic support once aircraft are delivered, according to US media reports. Now, it's not bad considering, as I said, this aircraft first flew in 1972. There've been the A, the B model, the C model, the D, the J, the D and the J, and now this Q and A model. But actually introduced into service, Matt, in 1976.
Always a good year that. Good year that was. Yeah.
Yeah, this F-15QA is actually it's an upgraded version of the F-15E Strike Eagle, and it's similar, if not identical, to the F-15SA, which has been delivered to Saudi Arabia, as you can see, SAQA. But these aircraft are upgraded with their digital flight systems, digital sort of fly-by-wire control systems. They have upgraded electronics warfare suites, some infrared suites, and a little bit different radars. So they're just as capable, if not a little bit more capable than the standard F-15E. And with these contracts, as kind of the story says, you know, they'll include the aircraft themselves, but then there's weapons, there's training, there's ground support, there's operational support. So it's pretty big deal for Qatar to have these aircraft as part of their inventory.
Actually, just looking at the comments Miles High made in the chat room just now, and we're just talking about this aircraft, and it spurred a thought in people's heads that apparently, according to news I saw this week, and apparently according to news that Miles High saw this week, as many people have seen, the new Top Gun film has been put back again for its release date. It's like the 460 millionth time now that this film has been put back.
I noticed the new Bond film is finally coming out at the end of the month. I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, well, this new Top Gun film is due to come out in November this year.
But why have they done it again?
Apparently, the report that I read online this week said it was due to the rising amount of COVID-19 cases in the US.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Which kind of made me think, well, I'm hoping to watch it in this country.
Yeah, but they won't then because it's too big.
It's because the US guys guys want to see the film before we do. That's what it is.
I know they don't like it when it's the other way around. That's what it is. Yeah,
maximum profit.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And Mark Webster is saying, delayed again. I had planned that night. It got a date for that night. Nice work, Mark.
Hey, you know what? I also had a planned date night to go watch Top Gun, and I also bought Megan a new book to take with me to the movie theater.
Right, so that she... Right, yes, okay. Well, that's nice, because...
It counts as quality time together.
Right, okay. She can read in the dark, right? She eats lots of carrots, yeah.
Actually, Matt, you know this. Gemma thoroughly enjoyed the Top Gun film.
Yes, I know, but she watches it for slightly different reasons to what you watch.
I thought she enjoyed the aviation content.
Yes, of course, that's exactly... Yeah, if you want to think that, Carlos, that's fine. We're going to move on, though.
Let's just say she's a volleyball enthusiast.
Yes, that's it. Yes, absolutely. Yes, that there was nothing to enjoy there at all.
Okay.
Story number 3 in the military, he says, moving on rapidly before we end up being sued or something, is the headline is Nigerian Air Force Super Tucanos Super Tucanos ready to fight against ISIS with US Air Force training. So the Nigerian Air Force has about a squadron's worth of light attack aircraft, their pilots and maintainers trained by the US Air Force personnel to fight terrorists in the African nation. US Africa Command noted the induction ceremony for the A-25 Super Tucano, a turboprop light attack aircraft, in an August 31 release. So far, 64 pilots and maintenance crews with the Nigerian Air Force have trained at Moody Air Force Base, Georgia, with the US Air Force's 81st Fighter Squadron, according to the release. The Super Tucano can conduct intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions and precision air-to-ground strikes, according to the Africa Command Base. Nigeria had long sought the aircraft for use in its fight against Boko Haram militants and the ISIS West Africa branch, which threatens Nigeria's security. The US approved the scale of A-29s to Nigeria, a package that included training, munitions, related equipment and logistics and maintenance support. It also included multi-year construction to improve the airbase. The $500 million deal is the largest foreign military sales program in sub-Saharan Africa, according to the AFRICOM news release. The A-29 is a prime tool to help Nigeria combat violent extremism and is vital to sustained deterrence, said General Jeff Harrigan, US Air Forces in Europe Air Forces Africa commander. Blimey. The total package deal, air crew and maintainer training, precision guided weapon delivery and more, highlights our enduring partnership with the Nigerian Air Force and our commitment to enabling their successes where we can. Gosh, that's
Have you flown had a chance to fly one of these yet, Armando?
No, I've never flown a Super Tucano. There's one out at Reno. Every year I lurk around their aircraft, hoping to get a ride in the backseat or something like that. Usually I lurk around with a semblance of a camera and a microphone, hoping that they'll just make eye contact with me and then I can just walk over and talk to them about it. So since Reno is here in 2 weeks, I will do the same this year again and lurk around their Super Tucano to get a backseat ride.
Back seat? So you'd be a front seat.
Well, it depends on the instructor and how much they trust me and this trustworthy face.
Do they not know who you are?
Yes, and they let him in the back despite that. That's the.
Let me tell you, I'm a big old nobody at the Reno Air Races. There are some amazing pilots. I've talked about it 100 times, from all different backgrounds, from military pilots, commercial pilots, private pilots. Everybody's out there just doing amazing things in airplanes. But sticking with the Super Tucano, it's an airplane, as we have mentioned over the past, almost 2 years, 3 years now on the show. The Air Force was looking at a light attack, the U.S. Air Force light attack aircraft. The Super Tucano was pretty much fitting the bill. For whatever reason, they didn't purchase it. But one of the biggest reasons that they were looking at it is because it's an exportable aircraft. It's an aircraft that is simple to operate, cheap to operate, and can have some pretty significant capabilities for an aircraft. For an Air Force that may not have the advanced technology and training systems for aircraft. But so there you go. So the Nigerians getting this Super Tucano is pretty big in their fight against the terrorist troops, Boko Haram.
Actually, just quickly before we move on, I was just looking at reading up about this the particular aircraft. And according to the stats from the site, they reckon this aircraft, the structure is corrosion protected, which is a good idea. And also it says here that the side hinged canopy has a windshield able to withstand bird strike impacts of up to 310 miles per hour.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's pretty good for a small turboprop. I think a lot of military aircraft are probably rated to similar standards, but the Tucano is essentially just a big general aviation aircraft. I mean, all of these things were based on the PC-7, the PC-9, the Pilatus, the Super Tucano, the Texan. They're all real similar aircraft.
Mike is just saying in the chat.
Chance to look at it.
I can say Mike is just saying in the chat room here. I thought the USAF made it very clear they didn't want to purchase the Super Tucano.
Yeah, I think they in Sierra Nevada put a pretty good fight for the Texan 2 because the Air Force already had, I don't know how many, dozens and dozens of them for primary flight training and advanced flight training. So I think it was only a natural decision for the U.S. Air Force to go with an attack version of an American airplane, basically, despite the Super Tucano's amazing capabilities. But we've seen that happen with the Airbus. We were going to buy an Airbus tanker, the MRTT, but at the end of the day, the KC-67, right? The 767,
yeah,
won out. So yeah, I'm kind of with Mike on this one. Sometimes your taxpayer decisions up in the Pentagon don't make sense.
But with the last story, we've got good news for anyone who's got some money down the back of the sofa.
Oh, God, right.
Who wants to take that? I can take this.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be Matt, just because I wanted him to continue reading military acronyms. But
okay, I can do it. Yes, okay. So fancy owning a World War II Canadian Air Force base. This is warbirdnews.com. And who among us hasn't entertained the idea of owning a former World War II airfield, complete with hangars and original barracks? Well, now is your chance. So long as you can pony up the roughly 15 million Canadian dollars to purchase the 700-acre property once owned as RCAF Station Picton in a couple of hours' drive east of Toronto in Ontario. This base was one of dozens of such facilities which sprang up across Canada between 1940 and 1945 as part of the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan. Each of them helped provide Allied air forces with thousands of highly capable flights and maintenance personnel during the Second World War. RCAF Station Picton formally opened in April 1941. The base hosted the Royal Air Force's number 31 Bombing and Gunnery School, which offered 6-week training courses in bombing, navigation and aerial gunnery. Student pilots and bombardiers I said it properly. Yes, thanks, Mother. Could hone their bombardment techniques. And
can we get a recording of that, please?
Diary entry.
Indeed.
3rd of September. 20, 30, 40 hours.
I would love to just have a recording of Mama Smith saying, Bombardier!
Indeed, all right, leave it with me. I forgot anyway, the dog's getting involved now. See now what you've started. See what you've started anyway. In 1968, Canada's shut up, Alfie. 3 independent military services merged to form the Canadian Forces. So consequently, Camp Picton underwent another name change to become Canadian Forces Base Picton. But this was short-lived as the Canadian Forces closed the base in September 1969, selling the site to the town's former mayor, H.J. McFarland. Interestingly, McFarland sold the property 3 decades later to a World War II veteran who had undergone his RCAF training at a similar facility in Canada. However, once again, the site is for sale now in 2021. In many ways, the place is a step back in time as it retains most of its original buildings, including the original barracks, the dentist's office, drill hall, and even the abseiling tower. This is so cool. Several businesses are run from the site as well, but most importantly, to us at least, the airfield's 3 runways and original hangar building are still operational as Picton Airport. I think that's absolutely brilliant, and I must, I don't know, I mean, if that was here in the UK, I mean, there's one near you, isn't it? Which has got the Old Feathers Club attached to it. That's over at that's near you,
Horham.
isn't it? At Horham, yeah, absolutely. and they didn't have the buildings, so they recreated them. They recreated the drill hall and all that kind of, where they used to have the dances and stuff. I do hope somebody preserves it in some way. I think that would just be amazing.
I must admit, that's a lot of money. But when you look, I've just been having a look whilst you've been reading that story, Matt, at the site itself. It's quite a large site. And I think if you had the money, and I think it'd be a great thing to have it continue as a GA kind of use airport, I think, for people to use.
Indeed.
To use.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt's got a couple pictures that he could throw up there, but it's it's over 1,000 acres, if not 2,000 acres. It's just across the river from Rochester, New York, or Syracuse, New York. Just kidding, it's not a river; it's Lake Ontario. But if it's just maybe an hour's ride from Toronto, so all our Canadian listeners, or if you have the ability to buy land in Canada, we will offer you up the opportunity to host the PTUK 500th from Picton Private Airport.
Okay. Right.
No, yeah, you can see there on the hangars are still there. Some of the barracks are still there. So it looks like a Air Force base.
Actually, Miles High makes the point it is only about 8.6 million, Matt. Pounds.
Right. Okay. I'll write a check then, shall I? Yeah. And watch it go. Boing.
Micah suggests that we should move the PTUK headquarters there to have the annual PTUK Air Show.
I'm up for it. I'm absolutely
it's not a bad
up for
idea.
that. No, it's not a bad idea. Yeah, I don't think we've quite got enough in the old coffers at the moment, though. To be honest,
we'd have to have good
broadband.
Right.
Well,
now.
Indeed.
I take back my comments about my lovely bride avoiding the military stories. Apparently, she's been lurking this whole time and listening just outside the door.
Yes, indeed, as you do. Indeed.
That is what we bring.
She can shuffle back to her camera if she wants now.
That's all right. I'll stay here.
Oh,
She moved the mic setup and everything.
Okay.
We like
just
to sit
excluded
next.
me.
Yeah, we like to sit next to each other anyway.
Right.
It's like you know each other. It's lovely.
So thanks for choosing those stories this week, Armando. Well done. Thank you for that. And I think it's kind of near a time to start.
It is,
wrapping up the
absolutely.
show, isn't it, I suppose?
Absolutely. Let's go.
But for social media links, don't forget. Actually, we've got a quick mention to make. We had a purchase this week,
We
or
did
today,
indeed,
in fact,
yeah.
of a mug. One of our
We did.
lovely loyal listeners has ordered a PTUK mug off our website.
And how do they do that? Where do they go to do that?
Well, Matt, what they do is they go over to allaws.planetalkinguk.com and they click on our shop or store, I should say, part of the page, and it'll take you to our store where you can purchase said mug, or coffee mug, tea mug, or Armando puts whiskey in his. But anyway, you can put whatever you like in there. And you can also grab yourself a PTUK T-shirt as well, one of our glorious embroidered fronted PTUK branded T-shirts with a printed back as well. We can grab one of those on there. You can also search for us if you don't already follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We're on all those media outlets. Just search for Plane Talking UK. And also that WhatsApp number, we haven't had any in this week, so if you're
we've had loads
we have had loads
we have had loads in. We'll have to get it up we'll have to get you set up so you can look at it on a browser again, because
I know. If you want to send in a picture to put on the green screen, like I've got behind me here, or in the studio where Matt is, you can send those into +44 757 224 9166. You can also, we'd love to hear some feedback. We had some great feedback this weekend from Nick Codling, which we're going to feature on a future show. If you want to send us in that, you can send it in via the WhatsApp number if you wanted to, but you can also email us podcast@planetalkinguk.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm sure you all subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget, if you are downloading the show and listening to us via the downloady kind of way of listening to the show on iTunes, if you could leave us a little review on iTunes, that would be great. We have had a couple of really nice reviews just recently on iTunes from listeners, so thank you very much to those guys for leaving those reviews on iTunes. We really do appreciate that, and it also helps to push the show on iTunes for other people to find us, which is always good. Don't forget, if you're doing your shopping on Amazon this weekend, which I'm sure everyone is at some point in time, don't forget to go on our website and click on the Amazon link, which will take you through to Amazon, and doesn't cost you a penny, doesn't do anything. It just sends us a small referral fee to the show to help us, so you can do your shopping via that link. And that's about it, really. Anyone else got any exciting news or what's going on? Armando and Meg, our lovely guest Meg, and what's going on in the world of you guys this weekend?
No, nothing special.
we're
I don't know. What do you have planned for my birthday, babe?
This is well, you know this part. We are celebrating her birthday, but we are making it a Halloween themed. So
Maddie decided to go
Nice.
Halloween shopping early,
Yeah.
and they found a lovely little costume, and so she decided we should combine Halloween with Mommy's birthday, which I thought was a fabulous idea.
I like
So
it.
that's what's
I like
happening.
I like the thinking there. That works
Yeah.
for me.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Halloween. It's fun.
Yeah.
Other than that, chill weekend, and I don't know what we'll do. I know I got some flying to do. I got 2 charters to do on Saturday and Sunday, unfortunately. But hey, that's how it goes. This flying on weekends is part of the
job.
the deal. Yeah.
Never mind, all part of
Matt, what are you doing next week?
I will be. Normally I'm up early listening to Neil, but I've been doing a week of breakfast shows where my alarm has gone off at 4:30 in the morning. So I will be mostly sleeping in tomorrow, I think, or at least I'm going to try. I'm going to try very hard to. But then I start my new show on Sunday morning. So
Yes, he does.
It's official now. I'm officially
Matt is the new
host.
face of Sunday morning breakfast on Park Radio.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We do listen here.
We love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's basically the middle of the night for you now because it's 7 a.m. here that it starts. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of it's going to be a lot of fun. It's nice to have a big show like that. So yeah, very very pleased to have been promoted so soon in my tenure,
Congrats.
which is nice. Indeed.
And
It's
next
so
week-
much fun doing breakfast actually this week. I've had so much fun.
Tanya says, congratulations, Matt.
Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, so if anybody, I don't know what time, 7 a.m. here, what time is that in?
7 a.m. in the
Yeah.
US. What's that in English? 7 a.m. in the US would be, Armando?
It's noon, right?
7 a.m.
11.
7 a.m.
11 or 12
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
7 a.m.
Here on the East Coast. 7 a.m. here in the East Coast is like noon over there.
No, 7 a.m. here in the UK.
Oh yeah, that's like what 3 in the morning.
Lovely. Okay.
There we go for our US listeners.
Oh, got it.
Tune in 3 in the
Sorry,
morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So if
Yeah,
you're
Miles
if
High
you're,
says 3 a.m.
yeah, if you're on a light night out, if you're on a
Actually-
night out, then you might be luck. Yeah.
Tony S is saying in the chat room, Matt, that Matt plays the best tunes.
Aww.
He does.
He really does. Yeah.
It's all part of it.
And our Uncle Micah is saying that give him another 2 months and Matt will own the station.
No, absolutely not. If you had any idea the amount of work that goes on, I mean, it's only a community radio station, but I must say that to credit where credit's due, and one of the reasons why me and Carlos enjoy being in part of it is because it's a community radio station that pretends like it's a real radio station, and I don't mean that in a horrible way, but I mean it's like the production values and everything are really important in how you put the show together and stuff like that. I mean, we're constantly getting emails, aren't we, about how we do stuff? So
We are.
I love that. I love it. It's a community radio station that's punching way above its weight, and that's why it's such a fun project to be involved in. But oh my god, it's
good fun.
it is good fun. And as I say, Carlos did Bank Holiday Monday, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I done
Yeah.
the Bank Holiday Monday breakfast show
You did.
and Saturday's breakfast show last week.
Oh,
which
you
was
did,
fun.
didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a busy
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah,
I was
indeed.
very tired come Sunday.
Anyway, come on, you have an
well,
anniversary
come
to
Tuesday.
go and you have a
But
wife to go and cuddle.
Next week, I'm so excited because next week I am actually going to go and do my first exhibition. setup.
What?
I know. After so many,
Have you forgotten how to do it?
months-
That's the question.
I know. I've spent the last 2 days getting everything ready to make sure it's ready. We have actually started to have exhibitions here in the UK, which is
Oof,
fantastic
I
for
know.
me because it means I can do what I'm supposed to be doing
Yes.
rather than driving a lorry every day.
Indeed.
But yes, we have our first exhibition at the NEC in Birmingham.
Oh dear.
which is great. So yeah,
Could
got
be
that
worse, I
Monday.
suppose. It could be London, I guess.
I know. So
Lovely.
that's where we are going to wrap things up for episode number 382 of the show. Thanks to everyone again who's joined us in the YouTube chat room this evening. Thank you to everyone. Thank you very much indeed. We will be back next Friday, hopefully with a full crew. And we
Not
might
me.
even,
I'm not here next week.
Well, Matt's
I'm
not here
definitely
next
not
week,
here.
so I'll
Yeah.
be in charge.
Yeah.
We won't be on time, but we will be here at somewhere around about 7-ish, 7:15-ish, 30-ish kind of thing.
Lovely.
But don't panic. It'll be fine. So big thanks to Megan, our glorious guest co-host this evening. Well done, Megan. Done a very good job.
Yeah.
It was brief, so there
And
couldn't
also-
have been too many mistakes.
And also happy birthday from us all.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
And a happy anniversary to you.
And happy anniversary.
Thank you very much, guys. So that's it then. Take care, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. And we'll see you all next Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.